The attack on Israel by Hamas terrorists a little more than a year ago has most of the rest of the world wondering if an all-out war in the Middle East is afoot. So many countries and players involved already. Israel and Palestine, of course, Lebanon and Iran, with the United States chipping in more than $260 billion to Israel. The conflict continues. A week ago, Iran fired 180 ballistic missiles at Israel, saying it was in response to Israel attacks on Iran-backed terror groups Hamas and Hezbollah. The question now is just how Israel will respond, not just that, but whether it will escalate across the entire region. Idaho Senator Jim Risch has a unique window into the Middle East as a ranking member of the Foreign Relations Committee. He joined Joe Paris to talk about that, including what's not being talked about in the media.
War in the Middle East is not new, but Idaho Senator Jim Risch, ranking member of the United States Senate Foreign Relations Committee, says things are changing in the region.
The only bad actor left is Iran. That's all that's left. And you say, well, what about Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis? They're all part of Iran. They're terrorist organizations located in Yemen or Lebanon or in Gaza, but they are all part of Iran.
Iran has directly attacked Israel twice this year, in April and just last week, with hundreds of missiles. Iran-backed groups like Hamas and Hezbollah have also continued attacks on Israel. A major change from decades past, Senator Risch says. Other Arab nations are not coordinating with Iran.
That's over. That's done. They're through with that. I deal with them regularly, and they've had it. They want different for their kids. They want different for the future of their country. And so the only one left is Iran.
In fact, something Senator Risch believes wasn't talked about enough was what some Middle East countries have done this year. 2
Arab countries flew to protect Israel against Iran. Both Saudi Arabia and Jordan flew. Now, that's never happened before. I mean, it would be unheard of even 10 years ago.
Something that hasn't changed are terror groups like Hamas and Hezbollah.
They were founded by Iran, they're funded by Iran, they're inspired by Iran, they're trained by Iran, they're ordered by Iran. So these aren't proxies. I mean, these are part of the Iranian establishment.
President Biden met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week, drawing questions about escalation and if the Biden administration is asking Israel to limit a response to Iran's attack. Senator Risch shares this perspective.
I'm critical of the White House. I'm tired of hearing them wring their hands and say, oh, you know, we don't want escalation. Well, and they say, well, it's going to broaden into a regional war. Everybody that's in it's already in it. None of the Arab countries are going to get in this thing. They just aren't. So the ones that are in it are already in it. And so you don't need to worry about escalation. You need to end this thing. And the way it's going to be ended is for Israel to do what they have to do to end the existence, really, of Hamas.
Some Americans have very loudly questioned what the Israeli strategy is in the Middle East. Senator Risch says this is Israel defending itself.
They have made the decision, as we did in World War II. When we looked at the Nazis, we said, look, these people cannot exist as a military organization, a political organization, a cultural organization. We're going to destroy them. We got together with Britain and our other allies, and we did that. The Israelis have made the same decision as far as Hamas is concerned, and that's what they're doing. And if you put it in that perspective, you can understand what they're doing.
A complicating component of the whole situation. Countless voices telling Israel what they think they should do.
Nobody knows better how to take care of themselves than Israel does. And I've told them they need to butt out of it and don't be telling them how to fight this war. And what I do is I put it in a perspective of what if during World War II, we and the Brits invaded France, started across France, got into Germany, got about halfway through Germany, and somebody said, oh, you know, there's too many civilians dying. I think we're going to quit here and let Hitler and the Nazis be. We just said, what are you, crazy? You know, and I'm sure that's how Israel looks at this.
So we know that President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke over the phone, and there are now questions about what the action from Israel will be next. And Brian, I know that there are worldwide attention on the Middle East has been for decades. You could go all the way back to the creation of the State of Israel. We know that Israel has said that they're going to have a retaliation that is a serious response. We'll find out what that looks like. Also, coming up tomorrow on the 208, we're going to hear more from Senator Risch. I asked him about his thoughts on the situation with trans athletes.
Okay, looking forward to that. He mentioned Iran a lot. Did he mention the Iran deal that Trump backed out of, the nuclear deal?
He did talk about the Abrahamic Accords, where there was some negotiations in the Middle East during the Trump administration, but no, that didn't specifically come up.
Didn't get into that. All right, thank you very much, Joe.